Welcome to Advanced Solutions How-To session. Today's session will cover how to add, edit, delete group type category list within Room Reserve. Let's begin by signing into the staff side of the room reservation system. You will need to know your administrative password for today's session. So here in the password box, I will type in my administrative password, and I could either hit the enter key on my keyboard or I could do a simple click over the login button here. Once the room reservation system opens, it will open up to the home page. Within the home page, you are able to make modifications to many areas within the system. For instance, you have your reservation maintenance, you have setup, settings, quick view, and reports. Now, because we have the administrative level, we do have access to the setup as well as settings within the room reservation system. If I hover over other items in the toolbar, such as reservation maintenance, reports, room setup, and system settings, you will see under those drop-downs that it is the exact same items that we have in the box on the home page. So if I was to come into request reservations and needed to get back to my home page, I could come back up here to my toolbar and select home. If I needed more information about the actual program, I would select the About from the toolbar. And as you can see within the About, it will give me information about what version I'm on, the vendor, support, website, and manuals. This becomes very important when you're contacting support because they will need to know what version you are on. Here we are back on the room reservation maintenance homepage. Let's go down to Settings. We're going to choose Branch Specific List and select Group Type Category List. Now before we start talking about the Group Type Category List, let's talk about what this is used for. And the best way that I can define it is by showing you the patron view for this particular field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my patron view for the room reserve system and show you where this comes into play. Over here to the left hand side of your screen, we have a list of all of the rooms that are available for this particular program. If I come up and I select Community Room A, and I'm going to select an hour of time and select Continue, I would go ahead as a patron and populate all of the information. Now what we're talking about is group information. So if I scroll down to select the organization's category type and I select the drop down, this is the field that we're defining. So what we're defining is what is basically the organization's category. Are they a homeschooler, a library program, a literacy group? So the patron would have the option to select whatever the organization's category type is. As you can see, this is a required field for this particular room. So this would require the patron to select this field. And we'll talk a little bit about how to set that up in just a few moments. Let's go back over and set up our database with some of these organizations. Back over to the Group Type List Maintenance screen, you will see that you have Add a New Item to the List. You also have a section where you can delete and make modifications to items that are already in your list. My list already has 2 items. When you first open up your system, you may not see anything in this list, and you could start building and generating this list. So let's start by adding a new item to our list. And this time I'm going to add my group name as County Employee. And I'll select Save. It automatically adds my item to the list over to the right hand side of my screen. If I needed to edit that, or maybe I made a mistake, I can double click onto that field and it'll bring up the Modify Group Name where I can make any changes. County Employee Full-Time. Maybe we have a different room for full-time and part-time employees. So I would submit my modified entry, and now you can see my changes have been made. If I needed to delete an item out of my list, let's say I'm going to delete the Girl Scouts out of my list, I would come to the column of where it says delete, and then I would choose the one that I would like to delete and put a check mark next to that title. Select delete items, and it removes my item from my list. So just to recap, if I wanted to add a new item, I would come over here to add new item, enter the group name, and select save. If I wanted to make changes to items in my group names, I could come over, select the one I'd like to make changes to, make my modifications, submit modified entry, and then I would be back to my group type list maintenance screen. If I wanted to delete an item from my list, I would choose that row and select the box within the delete column, select delete items, and that item would be removed. Once I'm done making my modifications to the group type list maintenance, I would select the back button and it would bring me back to the home page of the room reservation system. To make that field, like we talked about earlier, to make it required, I'm going to show you a different area under room configuration. So if I come over here to room configuration and I do add new room, I'm going to choose my contact form template and I'm going to choose add edit. Now, you will get more detailed training in a different recording. However, I do want to show you in this section you can make a modification to that specific field. So as you can see right here under organization, we have it enabled and I have it required. So it's a field we could turn on or off to use within our room reservations. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And I'm going to select Home from the toolbar, and now I'm back to my home page. Once I'm done making my modifications, I could come up here and select the log off from the toolbar.